At last you and Regina arrive at Brooks Crossing, a tiny village immediately before Aunt Primrose's own village. The train has already arrived to load and offload packages. Glancing at the station clock, you see that in 20 minutes, quite promptly, it will depart again. Here, passengers are encouraged to stretch their legs, enjoy the well-known La Bonbonnière et Château du Café, an adorable cafe known for its currant scones.
Or scones, if you wish to be British.
I think aren't there a couple different pronunciations used in different parts of Britain?
Yes, but
I recall hearing it was a subject of some debate.
It is indeed. I was just being rather picky about it. Forgive me.
Yes. Actually, I pronounce it scones.
Scones?
Or even escone.
Scones?
Sconce. Just scones. Like the wall lighting.
Yeah, sconces. Right?
Scones. Sconces. Yeah, same thing. Okay.
Taste about the same.
Nom, 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 nom.
The station also has a number of other boutiques, including the Ye Old Gift Shop, which Rory asked you to look into during your journey.
I wish it was Ye Olde Gifty Shoppy. That would be much funnier.
It is.
Could you please call it that now? Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, because in Middle English, you would have pronounced the last E, right?
Ye Olde Gifty Shoppy.
If those words even had those E's in Middle English, which I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know.
Also, Y-E, when representing the, was pronounced the, or I think they, actually. But they used the Y to represent the letter thorn, only in that word. But yeah.
Weird.
It's a holdover from the letter thorn that they had in Old English, which was a holdover from the runic alphabet, but...
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that was used for THs all over the place in... Anyway, including the Ye Olde Gifte Shoppe.
No, say it the silly way.
That wasn't silly?
No, that was like the actual Chaucerian way.
Yeah, I'm like actually proud of you, and I don't want to be.
Harsh?
I want to.
Which Rory asked you to look into during your journey.
I love it.
Shall we
just keep going like that?
Yes.
You had remembered that Aunt Primrose mentioned saying and leaking a particular peridot adorned hair stick at this boutique, and you rang up Ye Olde Gift Shop and asked them to hold one for you until you could come to pick it up, so that Rory would have the perfect birthday present to give her. Thanks to Regina, you will be able to pick up the last bit of your train ready, and also have a team to purchase the gift for Aunt Primrose.
Thank you. Oh, that was so good.
But I'm calling it Ye Olde Gifty Shoppy.
Thank you, Regina.
Not at all.
She assists you with your suitcases.
Let's just load these onto the train, and then I must be on my way.
You walk to the platform together and explain to the conductor that you missed the train in London. Emily, you want to take the conductor?
I think Callie actually had one line from the conductor or something before, but I can.
Take him. It can be a different conductor.
Sure. And yet here you are.
The conductor says.
Wonderful thing, transportation.
Yes, we can discuss how wonderful it is later. I'm in something of a hurry.
There you are, then. Be back here before we leave, of course.
After storing your bags and having your ticket stamped and torn in various ways, you exit the train and walk Regina back to her motorcycle.
I shall see you again shortly at the hold on, let me sound this word out first. Ritornello.
It's Italian.
Ritornello.
It means return.
How do I say an Italian word in the Scottish accent? Jeebus. Okay. I shall see you again shortly at Ritornello,
she says.
I would let you ride with me the rest of the way, but I have a sensitive mission to complete before joining you, one that must be performed alone. When we see one another later, you should refrain from greeting me by the name Midnight Thorn, naturally.
Naturally.
We shall treat each other as if just meeting to the extent possible. Then we shall find time to speak in private, away from prying ears. There is, I believe, some dirty work afoot that I will have to deal with, and I may ask for your assistance as part of your test. Much, indeed, may be asked of you, and from surprising quarters. Farewell, Clockwork Waffle, Mantis, Shrimp.
She drives away, and now you have time to conduct your business in the station before the train leaves. You head towards the gift shop when you hear a plaintive call. From the window of La Bonbonnière et Château du Café comes a familiar voice. Okay, so this is going to be Figs, the guy who, remember we were hearing about Mopsy, contracted an unfortunate...
yeah, the starving artist type.
Yep. So I would say one of you should be Figs and one should be Mopsy, or at least they probably shouldn't be voiced by the same person, so... Any preference as to who wants to claim what?
I'm fine whichever way.
I'm fine whichever way too. I'll let you make the call, Ben.
Oh.
You know the characters. Up to you now.
Yep, your problem.
Hey, we're doing like all the other choices, so...
Yeah. Okay, I guess, Emily, you can have Figs for now, since... Yeah.
Yeah. Since yeah.
That's a good reason.
Let's go.
I say, Cotswold, cooey.
It's Figs, Rory's old chum back from his school days, about whose unhappy love life you became privy only a few days ago. He sits at the edge of his chair, holding an open sketchpad and a set of pastels, which he snaps shut upon seeing you. Figs can be best described as combining the least aesthetic qualities of an otter and a stalk of celery.
Oh.
This was not what made me think of you.
First I'm befuddled, and now
This is worse than befuddled.
Combining a certain friendly You're friendly!
This is not helping, Ben.
Friendly weasel-like facial quality with a long and lanky body. He wears a threadbare suit in fashion perhaps 10 years ago, dotted here and there with specks of paint.
I can't believe it's you!
He shouts, leaping up and jostling the cup in the hand of a chap sitting at an adjacent table. Figs reaches out his hand to shake yours. As if in slow motion, you notice that his hand is filthy, bearing a mix of the pastels he was working with, and what you would guess are the remnants of a ham and cheese sandwich with mustard.
Hopefully he had the sandwich first and then started working with his paints. Otherwise, just eating art supplies is probably not good.
It's not, but I promise you, like, the vast majority of artists have done it. You just can't.
Oh, yeah.
At some point. As long as you're not, like, Vincent van Gogh style eating your paint, then it's all good.
I didn't know he did that.
Oh, it was one of the reasons he was hospitalized, I believe. He went on several psychotic episodes because he had, issues with mental illness and no way to treat it back in those days. And he was particularly enamored with the color yellow, a specific color yellow that you see a lot in his paintings, cadmium yellow, which is highly toxic, by the way. I believe was the one that he wanted that feeling of how looking at the color made him inside of him. So he ate the paints. Also, he was very poor and couldn't afford food, so he ate paint sometimes. But I know that the rationalization of wanting to eat the color specifically was one telling of it.
Okay.
Man, we have so many learning moments on these episodes.
I know, it's like educational central here.
Yeah.
Why don't we pretend not to see his hand? Just kind of try to go along with it.
I pretend not to see his hand. Figs holds out his hand for a while as you direct your attention to the list of beverages available for sale, chalked colorfully on a blackboard. Eventually, his confidence shaken a bit, Figs drops his hand back to his side.
Oh, well, Cotswold,
Says Figs.
it's been a while.
What a strange coincidence, you say. I've just been hearing about your difficulties. You watch as Figs' delight at seeing you drains away, and he is left, a broken and brooding man.
I'm tempted to change the voice just for this last. So you know all.
He's like got a very split personality with his voice. He changes it dramatically.
He's artistic.
Yeah. I like that explanation. We're going with it.
Oh, okay.
He's very intensely creative.
I do.
You know of my despair.
He picks up his teacup and runs his finger along the rim of it, in the process tipping it over and sloshing tea onto his trousers.
You know of my inability to see my one and only, my darling Mopsy, of whom no one is more worthy of adoration. But Cotswold, if you are here, you must be headed up to Woodland Center, to Ritornello, for the big fox hunt and feast.
Yes, I'm meeting Mr. Wintermint there. He dabs half-heartedly at the tea spill.
Then you'll see Mopsy. You may enter where I am barred entrance. Tell me, Cotswold, would you embrace her for me, and tell her that you saw me, and that I do nothing but pine for her? Embrace her and kiss her dewy brow for me.
Well, are we going to kiss her dewy brow?
I'd go with the first one.
I don't think I'll be kissing her dewy brow, but I'll tell her you are thinking of her.
No, not thinking of her, pining. It's driving me mad to be shut away from her. Where all may see her but I. Where she may laugh her silvery laugh, which has the sound of...
Tintinabulation, perhaps?
Yes, exactly, like tintinabulation. I wish I could hear it again. Sounds like this.
Then he attempts to mimic the sound of his love's laugh, an attempt that does not go over too well with the other customers in the cafe. A seated Roland...
I want to hear this laugh attempt.
Oh no, I'm going to have to try.
Yes. Oh dear.
I am very glad that I'm glad that you're Figs.
Yes. I love it.
I like
But
the
everyone
voice
in
you're
the cafe-
doing.
Oh, thank you.
But everyone in the cafe is apparently going to hate this laugh. I just realized this.
A seated Roland and Orange Wedge fly at Figs, bouncing
Oh.
off of his sketch pad, but he pays them no heed. Figs looks out the window of the cafe.
There's something I need to tell you.
He drums on the table for a moment, and you wait attentively for him to muster up the momentum to speak. Figs chews his lower lip for a moment.
I'd better tell you straight out, Cotswold. I have a notion. I've been turning it over in my mind all day, but I'm not quite sure how to effect it. My running into you as a godsend, though. You can almost certainly help me figure this whole dash thing out.
Tell me all. Figs reaches under his seat and pulls out a sturdy tube.
For the past several months, I have been hard at work on a piece of art. I think it's brilliant, I really do. It's every bit as good as the things they hang in the museum walls, that's for certain. I really believe that if only Aunt Primrose could see my work, without knowing that it was I who painted it, she would be utterly convinced of my talent and be willing to accept that I could possibly provide for Mopsy. But since she is predisposed to hate me, she naturally will not look upon my work with other than a jaundiced eye.
I see the conundrum.
So I ask you, Cotswold, knowing that you are resourceful beyond measure, to help me to get my masterpiece before her eyes, and to deceive her into believing that is the work of one of the old masters.
That could be tricky.
Well, it doesn't have to be an old master. It could be passed off as an up-and-coming genius whose works command fantastic sums abroad. As long as she is unaware that's mine, she will judge it fairly. And then when she praises it, I will swoop forward and say, "Ha ha, 'tis I!" or something like that.
I think I'd ask where we come into it.
But why do you need me? Where do I come into it?
That's the crucial point. I've thought all this through. It's foolproof.
Of course it is, sir.
You must take my painting, make your way into Aunt Primrose's art gallery, find a suitable frame, and insert my own art into it. Then you must hang it on the wall as if it had been there all along.
But surely she will notice a new painting. He removes the rolled-up canvas and spreads it out on his lap, displaying it to you. Your first impression is that it represents an indescribably ugly baboon? A fiendishly deformed millipede wearing a wig, perhaps?
Oh.
Then you see at the bottom, in Figg's looping handwriting,
A loving portrait of Primrose Patterson.
Oh, no.
Figgs looks at you in a highly energized state, eyes bugging out with anticipation at what he is certain will be your breathtakingly positive response to his artwork.
What do you think?
Well...
Oh, dear.
I fight to maintain a neutral expression in the face of such a grotesque portrait.
I'm picturing that really bad painting of Jesus that was like a meme a couple years ago. Do you guys remember that when the person defaced it? Well, they were trying to refurbish an old thing.
Oh, I have seen that. I didn't know that was Jesus.
Yeah, it's Jesus somehow. He's in there somewhere. I love the side eye. He's just like, hey there, I'm Jesus. Oh, I'm watching you. I'm picturing this portrait.
Oh, no.
Well, this really is something special and unique, you say. You notice a few people sitting nearby pointing at the portrait and wincing. You do your best to keep Figgs from noticing them. After all, you don't want Figgs' feelings to be hurt.
Oh, thank you for your kind words.
Figgs says.
They mean a lot to me.
Thank you for sharing it with me. I know it's not easy to bare your soul like this. Figgs looks like he is about to burst with pride.
Then maybe I do have a chance to persuade Aunt Primrose. And for Mopsy and me to be happy at last. Cotswold, I shall tell Rory what a wonder you are.
No.
No pressure. Figgs rolls the painting back up and stows it safely in its tube.
This is a matter of life and death, Cotswold. Means everything to me and Mopsy. Will you take my painting and get it somehow into Aunt Primrose's art gallery and lure her in to see it and comment on it?
Yes. I just want to see this go wrong. I love this plan. I need to see. Yes. Yes.
Yes, I'll take it.
Yes, I'll take it. No questions asked.
Yes, I'll take it.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Figgs says.
That's the feudal spirit. I knew you had it in you. You won't regret this, Cotswold, not for a moment. Allow me to
starting to.
Not for a moment, just for the rest of your life.
Yes. Not for a moment, but for eternity. That's the artist's dream, to last eternity. Allow me to stow it with your luggage in the baggage car. It's the very least I can do.
Yeah, the painting isn't the artwork. The experience of stowing it away. It's performance art.
No, the experience that you feel when you gaze upon it.
Yes.
That's art.
Glad to be of service, you say.
I'm very glad indeed.
Figgs says, not listening to you. He happily chatters away about Mopsy, as pleased as punch. Although Regina got you to the station early enough to easily make your train, After talking to Figs, you'll have to step lively if you want to make your purchase for Aunt Primrose at Ye Olde Gifte Shoppe. You pick up the pace and approach the shop. Now I'm Swedish.
Hi. Welcome to Sweden.
You enter Ye Olde Gifte Shoppe, eager to make your purchase of the Peridot hair stick, already anticipating the joy it will bring Aunt Primrose, and the relief on Rory's face when he sees that you have managed to provide him with an acceptable gift for her this year. Ye Olde Gifte Shoppe is a small boutique with interesting, locally crafted, one-of-a-kind jewelry. The store gives the impression of having about 3 times the amount of merchandise that ought to be able to fit within its dimensions. Shelves stand against every conceivable wall, and atop each other, while additional shelves hang from the ceiling. The store appears to specialize in highly fragile and unstable objets d'art that perch shakily on these shelves. You work your way, with held breath, past a display of fine crystal figurines of the Archangel Michael, with long wings and swords, which extend well beyond the figure's center of gravity and into the narrow aisle. Stepping lightly, you approach the counter. The only customer in the store is an older gentleman, balding, with gray mutton chop sideburns, wearing a military officer's uniform, complete with tarnished gold-colored epaulettes, a swagger stick, and a number of colorful medals. One of the medals reads, Colonel Firesnuff for valor beyond measure. This is going to be Callie.
I'm ready. Well, there's a voice that I've done as kind of a meme to make my best friend from elementary school laugh. Like, for the past, I want to say 6 or 7 years. Like, whenever I do it, she just bursts into giggles. It's one line and this one face I make, and I just go, there are peasants everywhere. Peasants everywhere. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Peasants everywhere I look.
I remember that voice.
Why, yes, you do, my good boy. Peasants everywhere. Rubbish. It is a silly voice. I don't know if it's this voice. I get you.
He's larger than life. That's what I'm looking for. He's like
Blustering, jingoistic.
Force of nature.
Well, I'm going to have to give him a mustache, because that's the only way.
I'm sure he has a mustache.
The only way I can do this voice is if I have a mustache. Quite right. Continue on, my good sir.
And he probably laughs like that, yes.
My mustache laugh.
Okay, we've psyched you up now.
Yes. Right.
The problem is getting her to stop now.
I don't see why that's a problem.
Well, for you to be able to read your lines.
Oh, I have lines, right. He glances at you and mutters something about not being able to shop in peace without all and sundry coming in and clogging up the shop, and turns back to the sales clerk, an aggressively freckled young woman. I guess that can be you, Emily, who gives off the distinct impression that she has just started working this job about 5 minutes ago.
Oh no. But also the peasants everywhere was very accurate.
Yeah.
Let me see.
He says to the sales clerk.
What do you recommend, girl? What could a woman with a certain brassy style want for her birthday?
I love it.
Why, thank you.
We have some stained glass vases and some crystal bells and with little jeweled clappers and this lovely peridot hair stick.
A peridot hair stick, you say?
Excuse me, you say.
Yes, this looks intriguing.
The sales clerk lays the hair stick on a velvet mat on the glass counter.
Ha ha ha! Oh, I think this will do admirably,
Says Colonel Firesnuff. He's just the kind of guy who would have the name Firesnuff.
Oh, yes.
You peer over his shoulder. He's looking at what appears very much to be the one-of-a-kind item that you requested via telephone to be held for you for Aunt Primrose. What are we gonna do?
Ah!
We told Rory. He's relying on us to have a good gift.
Oh no. Well, he seems like the kind of guy where if we just tell him that it's on reserve for me, he won't really listen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're all that good at the sneaking, stealing stuff. This might get us into trouble, but I want to just quickly grab it. Just go for it.
Just wait.
I quickly grab for the hair stick. Striking like a coiled cobra, if that is indeed the snake that coils and then strikes. Callie, you know biology.
Yes, it is one of many.
Okay, you lunge for the hair stick. You hope to seize it before Colonel Firesniff knows what's happening. However, you had not reckoned on his residual military training coming to his aid as he blocks your arm.
I say,
He cries.
this is mine.
Never, you shout, moving to wedge your shoulder between him and the counter, hoping to gain some leverage to more effectively thrust him away. It would have been a pretty cunning display of the martial arts had he not anticipated your move, grasped your shoulder, twirled you right around, and shoved you with some force. You go wheeling down the narrow aisle, directly into the case filled with the fine crystal figurines of the Archangel Michael.
Sorry, Michael.
Well,
That's why it described it so vividly.
Let's. Oh.
that was my bad.
It's okay. Choices were made, mistakes were made. It's all good.
I'm
Keep going.
delighted.
Thanks, Ben. Or rather, you're welcome.
They say that even people who chose not to exit the train at the station heard the crash and believed an electrical storm had begun. It does not strain credulity, as here at the epicenter you found it positively deafening, a state of affairs only exacerbated by the screams of the sales clerk. Shards of fine crystal cover most of the flat surfaces of the store, and you are eventually forced to pony up a pretty significant amount of money in order to cover the damage. It is an amount that, while Rory's credit will bear the blow for the moment, will not make you popular on the home front when all is known.
Ha!
Says,
How did I know he would laugh like that? Oh my god.
because it's a fire snuff laugh,
Yes.
says Colonel Firesnuff, with no little satisfaction, stowing the hair stick safely in his breast pocket.
You can't ambush a seasoned warrior. Oh no. They tried that on my campaign in darkest Papua New Guinea, but here I am still living and breathing.
Colonel Firesnuff regards you with the magnanimous eye of a victorious...
Magnanimous?
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
With the magnanimous eye.
Magnanimity.
Well, I guess that solidifies the mistake as going into the episode.
Yay!
Of a victorious general looking upon his defeated foe, salutes you and marches away.
Oh.
Saddest of all, you are forced to grab the nearest item for Aunt Primrose's gift, which turns out to be a needlepoint wall hanging that says, "God bless this home," with an image of a baby angel on it.
Oh no! We're crashing and burning! This is not gonna be good!
I feel like all the choices, it's like always the choices that I make that result in catastrophe.
I mean, I think I've done some pretty catastrophic things too, but oh, you feel the ones that you've done yourself the strongest, for sure.
Yeah.
Next!
I'm just so happy seeing all this failure.
You're welcome, Ben.
It fills me with joy.
All aboard!
Comes a cry from across the station, and you are shaken from your thoughts. You look up at the station clock, which you now realize must be slow, as your train is beginning to depart. With an odd feeling of déjà vu, you race across the station and onto the platform, but the doors are already closed and the train is in motion. "Wait!" you cry. "Wait!" But the train does not wait, and you run as quickly as you can towards the slowly retreating caboose, and then...
Fire snuff won't help us now. See what we did if we hurt his feelings.
Yeah, it's grayed out.
Yeah.
He's the kind of personality that I thought just would not listen.
Bring figs. Bring figs. Let's do figs.
Figs peeks out the rear door.
Help me, figs.
Golly!
Says Figs, suddenly opening the rear door.
Cotswold, what are you doing running there?
Never mind about that, you gasp. Help me!
Oh, righto.
Figs awkwardly hooks one leg on the railing and stretches out his hands to you as far as they will go. Trying very hard not to think about the way in which you are about to trust your life to Figs's competence, you leap.
Boing.
And Figs grasps your hands, hauling you back to the safety of the caboose.
There now.
Figs says.
All's well. One typically uses the door, you know.
Yes, I know. Thank you, Figs. I owe you.
Not at all. You've already agreed to do me a favor. The portrait, you know.
No!
Yes, I see.
I saved your life, and you, in a sense, shall save mine. You wouldn't mind telling Mopsy, when you see her, that I saved your life, would you?
And, as you lean on the railing with Figs next to you, telling you something very detailed about the shape of Mopsy's ears, you travel the final leg of the journey. End of the chapter.
End of chapter. I mean, I'm just excited to see Aunt Primrose view her portrait. I want her to see this and just be, like, very upset about it. It's going to be fun.
The portrait and the present.
Oh, it's both just going to be so bad.
Yeah.
We're wrecking everything. Isn't it fun?
Her opinion of us right now is fairly neutral.
Well, I think it's not going to stay that way for very long, Ben. Oh, no.
I can just, like, picture the flames creeping up the monitor of my computer, just, consuming everything.
Yeah, okay, well,
But
wow.
at least we're soothing.
We're soothing. That's the good news.
So, when Rory sits shell-shocked, just being like, what happened? What did you do, Cotswold? You can at least give him a nice cup of tea.
Yeah.
And like, rub his back, maybe, in, like, a soothing way. Just like, it's okay. And then he's like, no, it's not. It's not. And you're just like, it's okay.
They're there.
Yes, they're there.
It will all turn out well in the end.